today's episode, I thought we'd take a look at the P320 X series. So of course, this has become incredibly popular nowadays because of the military contract that Sig recently won. The instruction manual is nicely colored. It has really good illustrations, as you can see there. And of course, the all-important warranty card is right here. So you can register online, or you can fill out the little card right here and mail it in. And you really should, because this is how customer service gets really easy for you. Is as soon as you do this little task of sending this in, if you have any trouble with the contents of this box, they're going to take care of you. So, of course, you get the always present and always useless gun lock that no one ever uses. You do get one spare mag with this one. Let's take a look at this mag. So it does say Sig Sauer on the bottom. It is a poly bottom. It is a poly follower, but it's nice and very smooth. It is a one-piece design, as you can see, for the body, and it's just really nice. As you can tell by the dual cutouts, you can switch this gun over, and I'll show you that in a minute, because it's really ambidextrous. But this gun and its magazine here is very well made, and doesn't really have any give in this mag. It's just nicely made. Looks good. Has a really nice slick black coating. Of course, in this version and this caliber, this is a 15 rounder. It has nice witness holes, but this is a really nicely made magazine. Now, I've made videos before of unboxings, and everyone's like, I didn't get a holster with mine. Some distributors put extras in, some don't. This distributor actually puts a nice Sig Sauer paddle holster, which is nothing special. It's very Phobos-like. It's, you know, it's nice Kydex. It has a tensioning adjustment there. You know, this is a perfect, you know, Fisher Price My First holster. There's nothing wrong with this. If you're not shooting competition or doing serious concealment or anything like that, this is fine. This will get you started. But it's a nice feature that some distributors add. Not all, though. So if you don't get it, don't be discouraged. It's not like you're supposed to get it. It's just sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It really depends on who your gun dealer does business with. The gun itself, obviously, has another mag on board. It does come with a chamber indicator, which is always nice. It is an empty and cleared weapon. But here you go. So this is the P320 3.9 inch 9mm variant. So, as I was saying earlier, the controls are very ambidextrous. While this is set up for a right-handed shooter, you can swap it over to a lefty. It does have ambidextrous slide releases, which is quite nice. Of course, the takedown lever is only on this side, but that's not that big of a deal. This one happens to come with high contrast sights, but there are plenty of aftermarket sights. But Sig does a really good job of making those full dovetail, right? So you can change them out or drift them however you choose. They of course are designed so that you can rack them if you need to, off your belt or a table or whatnot. And this guy is just very nice, actually. This is a double action only, but for that, this is a really decent trigger. And I'm just really impressed with the reset and the trigger weight, which I'll show you next. Now, it does have an accessory rail there for lights, lasers, and whatever you might want to put on there. It feels good in the hand, and I would say that for your money, you could do a lot worse. Now, the cool claim to fame of this gun, besides the fact that it won a military contract, and probably why it won the military contract, is because the gun is actually this serialized part right here, which is the chassis system that sits inside the weapon. That can be lifted out, and of course you can then put it in different size frames, bigger and smaller, and you can add a different top if you choose, or you can put that top that you came with, like this one, on any of the other lower frames you can buy. And the best part is those items would only be considered parts. They would not be considered the firearm, because the firearm is only the serialized portion. So it's a very nifty, very flexible, very adaptable weapon, which is undoubtedly why the military chose it. It has forward serrations, if you want to press check that way. Of course, it has rear serrations. They're aggressive, but not too aggressive. The texturing on the frame, again, it's aggressive, but not so much that it's going to hurt your hand. The one complaint I do know about this is that lots of people add their own stippling job to this because, well, A, you can get other frames for it, but B, they just feel like this isn't aggressive enough, particularly for rapid firing. I like it. I love the beaver tail. I think it's just right. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. So, drop-free magazines, very nice. They don't shoot out of there, but they do drop free. It's quite nice. I like the metal mag. So I'll show you quickly how to break this gun down. It's very, very simple. So first and foremost, take the magazine out, lock back the slide. There's nothing in the gun. And then you're just going to roll this takedown lever kind of to the 7 o'clock position. So it rolls a little bit past the 6 o'clock, right, to 7. And then you just ride the slide forward and it'll come off in its two parts. So let's take a closer look so you can see what you're looking at here. So it's a dual captured nested recoil spring. Very traditional lockup, very traditional striker fired weapon. And so the inside of the frame, as you can see, is kind of hollow, right? There's not much in there except for this chassis system. So all this silver that you see here is the chassis. That lifts out, right? Just comes straight out, and that is really the weapon. That is the serialized federal part. And so therefore that's the weapon. As you can see, there's the number. It comes straight out, and then you can put it in other frames, other lowers, if you will. And then to put it back together, it's just that simple. You put the rails through the rail holes, roll it all the way back, lock the slide forward, okay, just like that. Flip the lever back to the 3 o'clock position, and then you're good. Function check that weapon, and you're good to go. So that really is that simple. It's very, it's very Glock-like and M&P-like in the sense that this is a polymer 9, and it, is very easy to break down. So let's get yourself unloaded weight here. Let's tear out this scale here. So here we go. That's pretty light. 1 pound 10 ounces, if we can make that happen. 7 pounds, so that's pretty high. Let's do it again just to make sure. Some people are going to say that's a deal breaker. Almost 7 pounds. Here's the thing though. This is a double action only pistol, and this is a defensive pistol. Some people do shoot them in competition, but the deal is that this gun is not a competition in the sense of like bullseye. This is like a 3-gun self-defense bedside table, type of weapon, and soon to be a military weapon. So I'm not so sure that it needs to have a 3-pound trigger pull. So let's do it one more time. Just over 6 pounds on that one. So 6 to 7 pound trigger pull is, again, not fantastic, but I will tell you this, it's really smooth. There is a little take up there, but you hit the wall, and when you're on it, you know you're on it, and then you can just push through it. Breaks very clean. So the reset here is, that's it. That's all the reset there is. That's pretty small amount of reset. So you should be able to ride this trigger pretty fast. Okay folks, so we'll finish up like we always do with pros and cons. First one, well, it's It's made in the States. That's awesome. I love that. You know, this gun could easily be made overseas someplace and imported in, but it's not. It's made here. It's made in New Hampshire. So it is a fantastic weapon. Love it. It's not my all-time favorite. I'm a 1911 guy, but as far as a plastic fantastic goes, this is pretty nice. It's really impressive, the engineering that Sig did, because this is a double action only trigger, and its ability to reset very quickly and have a decent feeling trigger, even if it's a heavy 6 to 7 pound trigger pull, which is what you want on a defensive weapon. I'd say they did a really good job. It's quite nicely made. For your money, yeah, $450-ish in through there, $500-ish, depending on where you buy it and what size and caliber you get. I think you could do a lot worse for your money. I mean, it certainly feels better in my hand than a Glock does. I actually like Glock for their simplicity, and this is a very simplistic gun as well, but Glocks don't point the same way for me. I'm used to 1911s, and there's just a big difference. This doesn't have that problem. This points very much like a 1911. It also has a beaver tail, so I can get on that gun a little bit differently than I can, say, a Glock. Frankly, this gun has a lot in common with the M&P, at least in feel. I love the fact that you can change it around, that you can buy a smaller frame, a bigger frame. So I think that's nifty. I like the innovation with the chassis system that comes out. So I'm very pleased. The only con I'm going to give it is that I really, really, really wish that you could, with the chassis system, that you could swap to other calibers easier. And it seems like they've grouped them into 940, 357 Sig in through there, but you really can't go to, say, 10 mil or 45 ACP easily. It seems like you have to buy a whole nother gun. If I'm wrong about that, somebody leave a comment down below and tell me, but I believe that's correct. But, you know, I like the fact that it's well made. So, I just don't really have that many cons about it. It's just a well-made weapon. So, if you get a chance, check this out. Check my other videos out. And now more than ever with YouTube's gun policy, I really, really need you to like, share, and subscribe. As always, be safe and be good.